This and more. Streaming on News 9 Plus. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
And a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bharadwaj-Otter and this is Game On. We're right in the middle of the week, so there's a lot of sports action that's coming up your way. There has been football results from the Champions League and a lot more big matches to look forward to. But we've got to begin with cricket. What are we expecting from Team India when it comes to their preparations ahead of the third test at the Gabba? Yes, after the defeat in the second test in Adelaide, the focus has shifted to the Gabba in Brisbane, where India have played 7 test matches overall and have won just 1 game. Of course, it was India's famous win at the Gabba on their previous tour, which came when the game was scheduled in the second half of the series in January, when the pitch had some wear and tear after being used for quite a few Sheffield Shield matches. Now, it was a Rishabh Pant special that ensured India a back-to-back series win down under, with Australia left licking their wounds. It was the host's first loss at the venue since 1988. Since then, Australia have lost to the West Indies at the Fortress, and no wonder the players prefer to play at the Gabba at the start of the summer and not at the end of it. So, how will the pitch behave at the Gabba now? The pitch for the third test between India and Australia is expected to have traditional pace and bounce, considering the game is scheduled in the early part of the summer and not post-Christmas. This is what Gabba Curator David Sandersky has told Australian media about the pitch. He said, and I quote, "Different times of year definitely makes it different. It can be a slightly different pitch. Pitches later in the season might have a bit more wear and tear, while ones early in the season usually are a bit fresher and might have a bit more in them. Generally speaking, we still prepare the pitch the exact same way every time to try and get the same good carry, pace and bounce that the Gabba is known for. We're just trying to make a traditional Gabba wicket like we do each year." The 5-match series is locked at 1-1 following Australia's comprehensive win in the pink ball test at Adelaide. As many as 15 wickets fell on the opening day of that domestic pink ball game last month, and the curator said the surface would be similar to that. Add to that, let me also tell you that rain is predicted on all 5 days. Now, this is what he said. The aim is to be similar to that wicket where there was a good balance between bat and ball. Hopefully, there is a bit in it for everyone. Meanwhile, Team India has arrived in Brisbane from Adelaide, where they succumbed within 3 days after having won the first test in Perth by 295 runs. And reports now coming from Brisbane is that, of course, rain is predicted on all 5 days. So there you can see that the pitch curator is already hinting that the pitch at Brisbane is going to be having more pace and bounce, and on top of that, if it's overcast or if it has rained, you can imagine how much more difficult it will be for the batters. So it'll be interesting. We'll get you all the latest on that. But we've got to move on to football now, and Liverpool maintained their 100% record in this season's Champions League and have a healthy lead at the top of the standings after a 1-0 win at Girona, with the only goal of the game coming from Mohamed Salah's second half penalty. A 6th win from 6 games puts Liverpool already guaranteed at least a playoff place before kick-off on 18 points, 5 ahead of Bayer Leverkusen, Aston Villa, Inter Milan and Brest, while Girona are in the 30th place on 3 points. Girona suffered their 5th defeat of the competition but made Liverpool work for the victory, and in the opening half had chances to take the lead but were foiled by the visitors' keeper Alisson. Liverpool struggled against a side happy to sit back and bide their time, but found the breakthrough from the penalty spot, with Salah converting in the 63rd minute after Luis Diaz was fouled. Girona were pinned back in the opening minutes by Liverpool's pressure, with the visitors creating 2 early chances. Defender Joe Gomez was denied his first goal for Liverpool by a reaction save from Paulo Gazzaniga from a close-range header, with the keeper also saving a shot from Darwin Núñez minutes later. Girona, with every player behind the ball, were happy to break on the counter-attack, and Liverpool keeper Alisson, making his first appearance since early October after a hamstring injury, was soon called into action. Daley Blind completely missed a cross on the edge of the 6-yard box, but the ball fell to Alejandro Frances, and Alisson held his effort at the second attempt and later punched away a shot from Miguel Gutierrez. Núñez had another effort saved when put through by Salah, and Girona responded with a shot from outside the area by Yasser Asprilla, with Alisson parrying away from a corner and Girona growing in confidence. Alisson was again involved in the opening seconds of the second half, saving from Danjuma, and Liverpool struggled to break down a stubborn Girona defence before a Donny van de Beek foul on Diaz gave Salah his chance from the spot. Salah missed a penalty in Liverpool's last Champions League game against Real Madrid, but he made no mistakes this time, sending the keeper the wrong way and the ball into the bottom corner. Girona never really looked like finding an equaliser, with Liverpool maintaining possession much better than in the opening half and leaving the Estadi Montilivi with all 3 points.
If you ask me about all the 6 games, I'm really pleased with all the results. I'm really pleased with the 5 games, the way we played. I'm far from pleased about the performance tonight. No, he definitely didn't. Yeah, I said out of a bit of a joke that maybe the players wanted to see how fit he really was, so to give him so much work. But of course that was not our plan. He showed again today why I said so many times that he's our first goalkeeper. That has nothing to do with Queef. He did so well. But Alisson has been so important for this club for so many years, for his country as well, and showed today that he's probably one of the best, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the world. And let's hope he can continue bringing these performances in. Let's even hope more that he can stay fit.
He really was brilliant on the night and was solely responsible for that win for Liverpool. Now, Real Madrid got a much-needed 3-2 Champions League win at Atalanta on Tuesday, thanks to goals from Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham, as the holders snapped a 2-game losing run in the competition. Real handed the Serie A leaders their first defeat in this season's revamped Champions League, but after Mbappe gave them the lead with a strike from inside the box in the 10th minute before he was forced off with an injury. Charles de Ketelaere, he equalized with a penalty after Aurelien Tchouameni tripped Sead Kolasinac from behind just before the break, but Vinicius Jr., he stroked home a rebound in the 56th minute to put the visitors back in front. Bellingham extended their lead after a counter-attack 3 minutes later, but Ademola Lookman, he reduced the deficit in the 65th before Real goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, he worked his magic with a string of saves to secure a hard-fought win. With 2 games left now, Real are 18th in this 36-team table on 9 points, 3 points off the top 8 spots, which secures direct qualifications for the last 16. Atalanta are in the 9th position on 11 points after slipping into the playoff places. Off the back of a fabulous campaign in which they won record-extending titles in La Liga and the Champions League, Real have struggled in their European title defence. They lost 3 of their previous 4 continental matches before heading to Italy to face red-hot Atalanta, who were unbeaten in the competition, having conceded only 1 goal. Mbappe, who's been under scrutiny for an inconsistent start at Real, began the game well and forced Marco Carnesecchi into a couple of fine early saves, but there was nothing the keeper could do to stop the France captain, giving Real the lead. He scored with a low strike inside the box, superbly controlling a pass by Diaz with 1 touch to move the ball past the defender and put himself in the box where he netted. It was all going so well for the visitors until Mbappe was forced off in the 35th minute with what looked like a muscle injury. To be replaced by Rodrigo. After Antonio Rudiger missed a close-range sitter in the 39, De Ketelaere, he fired a rocket into the top corner to equalize. But just as Atalanta were growing in confidence after the break, they gifted Vinicius a rebound. We know Vinicius never misses. Bellingham scored to make it 3-1 minutes later, but after Lookman slotted home a low strike from the edge of the box, Courtois made critical saves to deny Raul Bellanova, Matteo Retegui, and Ruggieri and Samardzic to secure the win. So it was another brilliant night for a goalkeeper in Champions League. Okay, now Arsenal must adapt to the situation of having a growing injury list. This is what Mikel Arteta has said. As his side prepares to face AS Monaco in the Champions League tonight, with several key players set to miss out. Arsenal have concerns over fitness of Gabriel, Riccardo Calafiori, Alexander Zinchenko, while Ben White and Takehiro Tomiyasu are already sidelined. Jurrien Timber and Thomas Partey also missed full training on Tuesday. And this seems like now a regular thing for most teams, where the injury list keeps on growing. After 5 games in the league phase of the competition, Monaco is the highest ranked French team, level on points with Arsenal and well positioned to make it to the knockout stage.
How frustrating has it been trying to deal with this injury crisis pretty much all the way through the season?
It is what it is. At the end we have to accept the challenge, and there's opportunities for other players as well to do that. In the ideal scenario, we have to be in charge of making those decisions, because it's forcing us to make it for the wrong reasons, but as well we need to accept the reality and move forward. Well, I'm really happy the way we are playing, and the good thing is that it's not conditioning the team in such a way that we have to become a different team. So I'm very pleased with that, the way the team is adapting, the way players are making the effort to play in different positions, and hopefully the ideal situation will come up very soon and we can do what we want.
What's your assessment of Monaco?
Well, I'm really impressed. Really good side. You see the run that they've been in the Champions League and in the league, especially against top opposition. So a real threat. Is a team that is superly well organized, really intense, really good in transition moments as well, and with a lot of quality. So it's going to be a very good test for us tomorrow.
The other big match in Champions League on Wednesday night or Thursday morning for us is Barcelona versus Borussia Dortmund. Continental duels between these two teams are rare, and Dortmund are chasing their first competitive victory over Barca at Signal Iduna Park. Now, Barca manager Hansi Flick, he is backing his young side to put aside the setbacks in their domestic campaign ahead of their Champions League meeting with Dortmund. On Saturday, Barca put in an unconvincing display in a 2-all draw with Real Betis, which left them vulnerable to being overtaken by rivals Real Madrid in the title race. The draw was not the ideal result ahead of a vital clash against Dortmund in Champions League, but Flick said the squad are motivated by the prospect of a successful run in Europe. The Catalonians will all but secure their place in the round of 16 with a 5th successive league phase victory on Wednesday, but Flick's team are travelling to a daunting environment where many outfits have succumbed in the past. For Dortmund, they are currently in the 7th place in Champions League standings, but Dortmund's injury list is growing, and that has left their coach Nuri Sahin worried about the packed calendar. Sahin said the constantly growing number of matches has become a major burden for players who are also playing for their national teams, and it is adding to a larger number of injuries. Defender Niklas Süle, he is the latest player to join Dortmund's injury list, and he is set to miss several months after picking up an ankle injury against Bayern Munich on Saturday. Julian Brandt and Karim Adeyemi, two of Dortmund's most dynamic threats going forwards, they are also currently sidelined with injuries.
I am firmly convinced that we have a very important game against Dortmund tomorrow, and it means a lot for both teams. I think whoever comes away with 3 points will have an excellent position for qualification for the next round, and we want that to be us. For me, it's simply about the team giving everything tomorrow, showing their potential. We know it will be a tough game, but we also know that we can have immense quality if we give our best, and that's what it is all about. You know, it's the Champions League, a different competition, and everyone is extra motivated because we all understand that if we get 3 points tomorrow, we will take a big step forward. It's not an excuse. I know that if a coach says we have a lot of injuries, experts think you're looking for excuses. I am not searching for an excuse. We will have an excellent team on the pitch tomorrow, but it is a fact that especially for national team players, the burden is almost unbearable. Because yesterday, for example, we planned the season with the FIFA Club World Cup, and I don't know when Greg should go on holiday. The guys arrive from their national squad and they are forced to deliver immediately afterwards because the coach is waiting for them here. As soon as they walk in, I flood them with information on the next opponent. The players travel from A to B and from B to C, but it is not only the matches. The game itself has changed as well. I am not that old, but some 10 or 15 years ago, the game was different with fewer sprints, less running. Now you have to go completely to your limit in every game. Again, neither Pep nor Jurgen Klopp were able to change that. I don't think FIFA will change it now because Nuri Sahin spoke out, but I feel that the burden for national team players is way too high. You see it in the top teams. You mentioned Bayern Munich, Barcelona, many injuries. Real Madrid, many injuries. You can go through all of them, and I don't think that will change, sadly.
This is only going to get more troublesome for players and coaches with the recently announced schedule for the Club World Cup, where you have 63 matches for all the players. I don't know how players and coaches are going to make sure that their team is fit and wins every time they take the field. Okay, Manchester City, they take on Italian side Juventus in their Champions League encounter. They're sitting 17th in the table before this week's slate of games kicked up. Pep Guardiola's struggling team, now they have 3 games left to clinch a top 8 spot to earn a last 16 place and avoid a playoffs. Manchester City have to adapt to exceptional times after almost a decade of near perfection. This is what Guardiola has said. This is another big game for Manchester City. The English champions are mired in a run of poor performances with just 1 victory in their last 9 games across all competitions, which is the worst stretch of results in Guardiola's most glittering managerial career. City defender Ruben Diaz, he struck a tone of optimism, however, saying that he and his teammates relish the challenge, but it is not going to be easy. Let's listen into what Pep Guardiola had to say on this game.
Always I take that situation like it was perfect. It's like always I felt like a privilege. So that isn't real. You win 6 to 7 Premier Leagues or Champions League or 4 in a row. That is not normal. This is exceptional. I take it as exceptional. And I take it like how good we are or how good everything is happened. That is not about that. So we won that. No team has done it, and many ever have all the records in ever. That is exceptional. So always when it's exceptional as well, now it's going to happen. You have to find the balance and come back on track. And track is win one game and in another one, and be competitive in many things and feel that it's not what I have to do, what I have to do to help the team to win games. Thinking I said many times last days, we are not in the position when you had the results the last 7-8 games to talk about win games and win games in plural. So we have to win game and not to see what happens in the next one. But of course we are in a position like we don't win against Feyenoord, especially of course the first game against Inter always we played to win the game for the chances that we had. Unfortunately it was a draw.
In fact, Pep Guardiola has dropped a bombshell saying Manchester City will be his final managerial job in club football, although leading a national team could still be a possibility. In an interview with Spanish chef Dani Garcia for Desmontadito YouTube channel, Guardiola is quoted as saying, "I'm not going to manage another team. I'm not talking about the long-term future, but what I'm not going to do is leave Manchester City and go to another country to do the same thing as I am right now." Guardiola only recently signed a contract extension that expires in 2026 with an option for a 12-month extension. City have won just once since Guardiola extended his contract and once in 9 games since beating Southampton on 26th of October. So this is a difficult period for Manchester City and for their coach Pep Guardiola, who's had a dream run so far. That victory that I was just talking about against Southampton came at home. And then Nottingham Forest, they beat Nottingham Forest as well on last Wednesday, but was followed by a 2-2 draw at Crystal Palace at the weekend. The Spaniard watched on as his team prepared for the Champions League match against Juventus. Both sides are currently outside the automatic qualification places, and City have only they won 2 of their fixtures in 5 matches that they played, 2 out of the 5 in the competition so far. Phil Foden has missed the last 2 Premier League fixtures with bronchitis. He was seen taking full part in the training session, which is good news, at City's training facility in Manchester before the team flew to Italy. Okay, on to swimming now. Newly crowned as Canada's top athlete, Summer McIntosh set a new world record time in the 400-meter freestyle on the opening night of the 25-meter swimming World Championships in Hungary. The 18-year-old McIntosh earned the Northern Star Award as Canada's top athlete of 2024 after a year in which she became the first athlete from her country to win 3 gold medals at a single Olympic Games. At the Paris Olympics, McIntosh won gold in the 400 meters individual medley, 200-meter butterfly and 200-meter individual medley, as well as taking silver in the 400-meter freestyle. Tuesday, at her first major meet since Paris, McIntosh won the 400-meter freestyle final with a world record time of 3.50.25, easily bettering Li Bingji's former record of 3:51.30 set in 2022. Australian Lanny Pallister, she finished in a distant second place. And Canada's Mary Sophie Harvey, she finished in third. American Gretchen Walsh also set a new world record in Budapest, winning the heat of the 50-meter butterfly in just 24.02 seconds. All right, with that, it's time to end this bulletin. Hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
You remember when someone had hit our car? I had got him to pay up for all the damage.
Yeah, so?
If something goes wrong in this guaranteed return share, I will complain to the exchange and get full compensation. See, there's an agreement.
Dad, you know what? Nobody can promise guaranteed high returns in the share market. Such illegal schemes are sheer fraud. The exchange will not give any compensation for these. That agreement is also useless.
सोच कर, समझ कर, इन्वेस्ट कर